Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy.
She says she running away. She says she can't take it no more. No. So she ran away.
Hey family, and welcome back to another week's video. I want to first apologize for not posting on Wednesday. This unit was not finished on Wednesday, so I didn't finish post. It took me a little longer than I thought it would, and that is because I don't have a good workspace. So most times I have to wait for assistance. So this is the piece that I am trying to replicate. My piece is going to only be 47 inches long because the wall that I'm putting it on is that length. So I would only have 2 doors versus this one has 4. This unit is from Bernhardt and it runs over $6,000. And now it's on sale for $3,600. Still does not compare to the price that I'm going to be paying for mine, which is around $107. Guys, watch me build this piece. Hey guys, good morning. So we're about to start this project, and I just want to go over my cut sheet with you guys. If you can see it, let me do this one first. So I did put it in CAD. Let's put it this way. I don't know if you guys can see, but I did put it in. Let me turn down my brightness. Okay, so I put it in CAD. This is how it's going to look, okay? This is the front of it. So that's how it's going to look. And these are my different pieces. Like this one right here is the sides. So I need 2 of these. This is the top. The bottom one is going to have a little bit of indentions on the side so that it can fit underneath here. And then this is it. This is it. See, in the front only. I didn't draw the back because the back is the back. So these are all my measurements, and then even though I have the measurements here, I still needed to translate them for myself. So this is me translating my measurements, right? So what I translated here is, oh, it's upside down. So this is my side again, but then this is my side where it's only the panel. It's not the black border that you see going around the piece. This is just the panel, the white panel that fits on the inside. And then these are the measurements that I would need that panel to be. So here I wrote out the measurements. Oh, these are not the panels. These are the strips that I need to cut. Okay? So these are the strips that I need to cut. So I'm going to create a frame, and then I'm going to attach each panel to that frame. The reason why I'm doing a frame is because I don't have a really nice pocket jig. So that would have been ideal to use, and then I wouldn't need to build a frame. So if you have a pocket jig, use the pocket jig. I don't have one. I have one, but I bought a real small one. And I tried to use it on an other job before, and it didn't work out. It looked terrible, okay? So, not it looked terrible. The holes wasn't going right. Like, it didn't work. That's all you need to know. So, I need to invest in one. That would have been great for this project. So, I'm basically doing kind of double work here because I don't have a pocket jig. But, you know, that's fine for me, right? So I'm doing a frame. I'm doing it out of frame. So I'm going to build a frame first, and then I'm going to enclose the frame. So what I'm using is I am using finished ply. Like where this ply, one side of it is finished, ready to spray. And then the other side, you need to do some sanding. Because I am changing, I don't know how the finished side is going to accept the paint that I want to use, I should just do, I'm probably gonna do a test, because then I wouldn't have to sand it when I'm finished putting it together. I would just have to paint it, do the paint finish that I want to do. You know what? I think the paint finish is gonna work. Yeah, I think it, yeah, I can make it work. You know Judith, she can make anything work. So I'm gonna use the finished side of the ply. Let me show it to you. So this is the finished side. You see how smooth it is? And this is the unfinished side. It's still smooth, but you would need to sand it. Okay? So I am using 3/4. The one I just showed you is 1/2 inch, because I may not have enough for the bottom. I need one more piece for the bottom. So I am going to use the 1/2 inch on the bottom, and then I'll just put some support to hold it full, because you know I'm gonna store stuff in that too. Yes, she is. So so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. What else? And then for my framing, I'm just using pine. I'm just using raw pine that I'm gonna I bought wide ones, and then I'm going to cut those down. You'll see you'll see where I'm cutting them down to the size that I need them to be. And I'm going with 1/4 inch and 1 1/2 inch. Okay, so this is how I'm going to be looking. So child, I'm like my dad. I got my pencil in my ear. So I'm putting this on my hair, because my hair is washed and already blow dried and everything. And I just realized I have you guys on my new device, and I just realized it scares you, because you think it's supposed, oh child, where is it going? So I see that I cannot leave it on top here. Yeah, I can't leave it on top here because it's moving on these woods. So yeah, I'm using my new face tracker, so that way I don't have to be moving the camera around all over the place. So I do, however, I'm going to go through my stash, and I am going to see what wood I have before I go and purchase anything, right? I only purchased this ply, and what I did is I purchased one that had a little damage on it, so I got 30% off. So I only paid $38 for this ply. This ply is normally $70 something for it, so I only paid $38 for it. Oh, how much is it? I can't remember how much it was, but I paid $38 for it. The guy, that he was real nice. He was making a hit on me. I'm like, dude, bye. You can't even come close to what babe looks like. Like, bye. Like, did you really? Okay. So I am going to I can't leave my camera here, because if this thing falls, Judah will be crying and babe will be having a fit. Like, why the hell you put it up there? Okay, so let me see, because I need some strips of wood to do the black framing, and I'm trying not to buy any. So let me see what they have, what I have here. If I have enough that I can cut down. I'm thinking to either use the pine. The pine might be a little too rough. I'm trying to do as less sanding as possible, but I might have to get poplar board. The poplar board will take color really good, and it's really good if you want to spray, you use poplar board. So let's go and look at this, okay? Let me go see what wood I have. Let me tilt this thing down. There we go. I'm trying to see what I have. I need to get everything together before babe is coming to help me out. Nope, I definitely don't have any I need to go buy, I need to go and buy the popular board so that I can do my sides. And I need to buy hinges. So I want the doors to be flush with the piece. So I need to get hinges that will make it flush. So those are the two things I need to go and buy. I think if I buy the 4-inch popular board, I can buy 2 of those and that will complete the entire project. Yeah, I can just cut them down because no matter what I buy, they need to be 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch square. So no matter what I buy, I need to cut them down. You understand? So yeah. Let me go get all that here. Then we're gonna start the frame. We're gonna start cutting and then framing. Okay? So I'll be back. Yeah. Okay, so I am about to cut my frames.
I can't get you off of my mind. I can't get you off of my mind. I think about you all the time. I think about you all the time.
So the big issue that I am having is that I don't have a large work surface. So I'm about to build a frame. I had to take another piece of ply, put it on top of my saw, and I'm trying to, use that as my surface to build a frame. When you don't have a good work surface, then you have a hard time getting stuff to be straight, to be squared. You need help holding stuff. So like I'm gonna, at one point, I'm gonna just give up doing the screws because it wasn't working and it was taking too long, and I'm just gonna start putting brad nails in them, because then I realized, like, hey, you're gonna put ply on this and the frame is just to give the piece shape. Okay, so I was hoping that I wouldn't have had to do this part, but like I said, I need to invest in I need a workbench, one, and then I need to get me a better pocket jig. Okay, so that's the only reason why I'm building a frame, guys. I'm building this frame the size that I needed. I made one mistake in building my frame. I wanted my piece to finish at 34 and a half, I think it was, and I forgot to subtract the 3/4 for the top. So my piece is 3/4 higher than I wanted it to be, but visually, you guys, if I don't tell you didn't know, the original piece is a high piece. It's not like low, like 30 inches like a table is. It's a bit higher than that. It's more like almost at bar height. So yeah, so I'm having a very hard time building on top of this, and I'm trying to make sure everything is square. And the next issue I was having is trying to get my wood to be cut straight. So because I didn't buy this from Home Depot, I went to the lumber yard to buy my wood. I had to cut everything by myself. So this day, actually I was waiting on Babe to come, but then he got tied up, and luckily my son was there. He came out, saw what I was doing, and he came and he started to help me, because I was really struggling. As you can see, the piece keep like falling off. I was really struggling trying to get it to put together. You can see I made a brad nail go down into the ply. I was so happy this is not one of the plies that I was using. yeah, I had to clip it out. It was frustrating, and I was just saying I wish I had a bigger work surface, and I wouldn't be going through what I'm going through. I could have clipped. Then I started to use my clamps. So another thing too is using your clamps to help you when it's just you working alone, to help you to put the piece together. So I worked on this for a total of, I want to say, 4 days. So yeah, so this is the actual frame. Okay. Like I said, the mistake I made is I have the frame too high. I have it 3/4 too high, so my table ended up being 3/4 higher than it's supposed to. So this is the frame. I just up here 3 inches. You did that on the bottom. Now I have to cut some triangular pieces to put in to keep it square. So this is the frame. I still have more. I have a piece to add up in front there, come down, and I have to add something here, come down. So I had a bigger work surface, but I don't. Okay, so we're gonna put that aside now, and then we're gonna cut. We're gonna cut the top, cut the 2 sides, and then I'll work on the front. Okay guys, this is the bottom. This is how far I've gotten. I'm about to go work on the doors now. Been hard to film. This is the side of it. If you've been on my channel long enough, you'll know my little rolling chair. Guys, my rolling chair is now broken. How it got out in the garage, I don't freaking know. But it's been out here for a long time, and now the legs are broken. My kids are trying to tell me that I ran over the legs when I was driving into the garage. So I now need to find me a new work chair, because that chair has took me through a lot. Okay, now guys, the hardest part of this for me was these doors. Why? Because when you're building doors, everything has to be square. If it's not square, the door will not function. The side panels that I put on, which are 5 inches wide, they were not, one of them was not straight. It looked straight, but it wasn't straight. It was off. And I thought it was the door. And I continuously keep checking the door, cutting the door, until I say it can't be the door. I keep bringing the door and I'm dropping it in, and I'm measuring the door. The door is showing me it's fine, but when I drop it in, it's off. And I'm like, why is it off? So that's why you keep seeing me testing. I was like, wait a minute. Maybe it's the side panel. I tried my best to fix that side panel. I couldn't get it fixed right. It was too much work. I tore them off. I cut new ones and I put new ones on there. So that took me a long time. You guys are seeing it in a couple minutes, like a minute or so of it. But this was me trying to figure this out for probably 2 to 3 hours. Why my door isn't straight. And you see me here, I'm about to go cut this door again. Yes, the door needed some cutting because it was too tall. Sorry. it was too tall, but the width of the door was fine. Yeah, this was the hardest part for me. And in the end, oh my God, trying to figure out what hinge to use was a nightmare. I had to go to Home Depot and change it over. This is when I cut the new ones. So I had to cut these new panels because the ones that I had on there were not straight. Okay? So I am like double checking everything because I don't want any errors. And my spacing is supposed to be 3/4, so that's what I'm using, is a 3/4 piece of wood to make sure that I have this thing in place. And I have to use my clamps. I'm like, I am not going to test it to not use my clamps because I'm going to hit it from underneath so that I would have less to do on the top in terms of, you know, fixing it. And this is me. This is, I think, Monday. I like to be in my quiet space sometimes. You know, my son was like, why don't you wait until I get home from work and I can come and help you? But that's not me. Okay? I have to try. I have to know that I did it, I tried. And then when I can't go no more, then I'll call help. So guys, I now have this cough because of all that dust I was inhaling, because there were times where I didn't tie my face down, and I was inhaling all that dust, and now I see that I have a cough. Yeah, this door stressed me out. So I just saw it on this video when I was about to put the clamp on before I leaned. I saw when that piece moved. I'm now seeing it on the video and I'm here looking at it and I'm like, when did this move? I clamped it down. That's what I'm here saying to myself. But I just saw previously, before I clamped it down, that when I was leaning forward, I moved it a little bit. So my daughter, this is where she spends a lot of her time, in the garage. You see there's a TV in there. I don't know how she sits in this garage. She likes to have the garage door closed, no lights on, and just chilling, watching TV on her phone. This is where she spends her time. So because I've been in here for a few days, I am basically invading her space. And then of course the space was very untidy with all of the sawdust. So thankful to that, guess what? She decided to start cleaning. So that's what she's here walking through cleaning right now. And I'm so happy because I was looking at it and was like, after you build this, girl, you gotta clean this whole garage. So she cleaned it. She organized the side of the wall for me, put my saw on one side where I can access it easy and all that. So I am so thankful for that I didn't have to go and do all of that after I was finished doing all of this. So what I'm cutting here now is the 1/2 inch ply that is going to be the bottom base of it. I'm trying to cut it like really snug so that it would help to square out the piece if the piece is, you know, having any unsquareness to the bottom. That if I cut it really snug, it's going to frame the piece like shape the piece to this. So I make sure I'm cutting it straight, and I'm also cutting it the exact size as well. And you're gonna see when I drop it in that it's not dropping all the way in, and that's because the back needs to push out just a little bit. So because I know my piece is the exact size I need it to be, I am going to pry it in there, and that way it's going to make sure that I have a flush piece. So see, I got it in there, and what it did is it really stabilized my my unit. And now I am going to go ahead and put some brad nails in it so to keep it in place. Now I do want to put a shelf in here, but I'm still contemplating that if I'm going to put the shelf or not. But I'm thinking not to, because I want to use it as storage, and I know I have some tall vases and stuff where a shelf is going to obstruct me storing those vases. So here I am using some wood putty to go in, and you know, covering all my holes for my brad nails. I'm covering any little spaces between my strips of wood and my ply, and I'm gonna let that dry. After it dries, I will come back and then I'll sand that down, and once I sand it down, then I'll be ready. So this is the bottom you see. Right now I have the unit upside down, so this is how the bottom looks. I mean, nobody will ever see it, but this is the bottom, and I'm still, you know, filling any little holes that I see. And I just realized that I lift that wood up, meaning it wasn't put in place. So I'm going to go ahead now and brad nail it in place. So after it has dried a few hours, I am now sanding down where I put the wood filler. And I love that I have this hand sander because it makes the sanding process much faster. Okay. So this little lip you're seeing here on the side, I should not have had that, but I ended up having it on both sides, and I was trying to figure out why that happened, and the only reason I can think on is when I was putting those two pieces together, I did not use the 3/4 to make sure everything was lining up. But it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a little imperfection that I made work. So here is where I am, without even checking to see what hinges I had purchased, I am going to I'm putting in the holes for the hinges. And then I'm going to realize that I didn't need the hole for the hinges I had. And then after that, I'm going to realize the hinges I had is not the hinges I needed. So, because of how I built this with just the panel, and the door was supposed to connect to the panel, the hinges I want to use, the hidden hinges, I could not figure out which hinge I needed to use. So I went to Home Depot, and I explained to the guy what I was doing. He didn't know, but he happened to have a guy that was there that was a carpenter, and he told me which hinges to use. And I came home and I still couldn't use those hinges. And then I told my son, like, my brain can't do it no more. So my son went and looked at it, and he told me what I needed to do to make the hinges that I had work. So these hinges that I'm using, I had to return those. Yeah, these were not the hinges that I needed to use. Or if I needed to use them, I was missing, because when I did go to I went to YouTube to see how to do it, like what hinge I should be using, and everybody else had an L, but my thing didn't have an L. And I was like, you cannot tell me nobody here created this yet. So guys, right here, what I'm doing is I'm testing the paint. So I'm using, what I did with the paint is I added water to the paint, okay? And then I'm putting it on. I'm gonna wipe it off, and then I'm going to put it on again. Now I realized that I didn't need to wipe it off because I was thinking, okay, I was thinking it was gonna dry that white, but it didn't. So I was thinking I'm gonna put it on, let it dry a little bit, and then I'm gonna do it again. And after I did it on one, I was like, I don't think it's gonna dry this dark. So I stopped wiping it off and just put it on. And when I tell you, I just love this thing. Like, just look at it. Look at the white, but you're still seeing the wood grain showing through. Man, this color came out amazing. I am so in love with it. And after this, I'm gonna let this dry overnight, and then I'm gonna tape it and I'm gonna add the black. So this is the door. Okay, so I'm showing you the difference in the color of what the wood was looking like compared to it now with the paint, the white paint on it. And I'm about to paint the black, so that is why it's taped. One trick I would say about painting is when you want to get straight lines is to take the paint that's to the bottom, which is the white, paint it across the tape, and then let it dry, and then go in with the color you want to use. That way you won't have any area in the tape that would bleed. It's not going to bleed because the white would have already blocked it, and then you get really straight lines. I did not do that here. I don't know why, because I had to end up going back in where it bleed with the white at some parts, and it made me not have a straight line like I really wanted to at some areas. Okay, so you would say, why are you painting this? You don't have the back on yet, you don't have your doors on yet. It's because that's just how I do it. I couldn't get the doors on, so I gave up. And while I was waiting until somebody would come and help me out, I decided to continue moving forward. So if I had sat there and wait all them hours, a whole day, for somebody to come and help me, then when I got the doors on, I would have been painting today, and you guys would not have gotten a video again. So I decided to continue. I knew maybe my front would get some kind of little scratches here and there, and I was okay with fixing those little scratches here and there. So guys, when I saw this, I saw the finish line. I literally saw the finish line. So I'm like, yes, I just got to get these doors on. Once I get these doors on, then I just have to put the back on. I didn't want to put the back on until the doors go on, because I just felt that my son would have to go to the back. It would be easier for him to work from the back. It would have been easier for him to work from the back to, you know, mess with the screws and all that stuff to get the door on. And that's exactly what he did. He went through the back and sat back there and worked on it. So the next thing I would say, and I didn't film that part, is you definitely would need to, because this is a whitewash is what you would call what I did with the paint, how I watered down the paint and the way I applied it onto the wood. It's called whitewashing. So I whitewashed it. So therefore the paint does not have the durability that it would have if I didn't mess with the quality of the paint, because that's what I did by adding water to it. You mess with the quality of the paint, so it would easily scratch off easily. So what I did to avoid that happening is I did use some polyurethane, but I sprayed it on. It was a spray one in a spray can that I have, and I just sprayed that on it. And that would have helped me to seal the paint from any, like if I had rest something on top there and I moved it too hard, it would have scratched off the paint. So you definitely would need to seal your piece, and that's how I sealed my piece. So yeah, So that's how the piece is basically turning out. I couldn't decide what handles I wanted to use on it, and while building it, I just knew that I did not want the handles anything similar to what's on the original, because I hated those. But I did decide that, hey, I want to keep this straight lines going. So I did find some handles on Amazon. They're not coming in until Monday. So once they come in, I'm gonna have to spray them gold, because the size I needed, they didn't have any in gold, and I want to use gold as the handles. So I'm going to spray them and apply them on, and you will definitely be seeing those in Wednesday's video when I show you the final styling of the piece. So guys, this is how it's looking right now. And I didn't film when my son was working on the door, because because of how I built this thing and I didn't have the right hinges, it took almost 4 hours to hang the doors and get it even. I wanted them everything even, so he had to keep adjusting and all this stuff. So guys, this is how the piece turned out. Right now there are no hinges on, no handles on it, but I did order the handles for it. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, I do apologize for not posting when I said I was going to post, but I hope it was worth waiting for. See you guys on Wednesday when I decide to style my piece. Bye for now, and have a blessed Sunday evening.